Greetings, mighty companions. Welcome everybody to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. Thank you for being here. Hi, Tim. Lovely to see you, dear. Welcome. Come on in. Good to see you, dear. All right, and welcome you guys who are watching on YouTube or Facebook. That reminds me to go to my Facebook page here and do this real quick before we begin. So where we're going to be is workbook lesson 68. So welcome everybody. All right, let's take it just about 2 minutes and just breathe, close our eyes, get present, be present. I need it myself after a lot of technical challenges this morning. So let's just breathe and allow your mind to come back home to the present moment now, this perfect, precious moment now. It's like we're dialing tuning a dial on a radio to the frequency and the vibration of this moment now. And the Course in Miracles tells us how to practice the holy instant. And it tells us to take this moment now and to see it as all there is of time. In the recognition that the past is over and gone and the future has not happened yet, and that all that is really happening is right here, right now. And that all that we need for peace and power and inspiration and joy and healing and comfort is here right now within each one of us, just waiting for us to allow it, to say yes to it. And it's in this present moment that we experience the truth about ourselves. The truth that we are complete now, that we lack and need for nothing now. And the fact that we are connected to our source and to every created thing. The awareness of that is available right now. So let's take this moment and tune into our true self that exists eternally in the present moment, that is complete, has no needs, is only love, and is connected to the source of our being and every created thing, now and forever. For just a moment, let us remember who and what we are now. What does it feel like to feel complete now? What does it feel like to be wholly and completely connected to all of creation now? What does that feel like? And what does it feel like to be guiltless now and forever? What does that feel like? What does it feel like to be as love created you and nothing else? Beautiful. And then just take a moment and just let that feeling set. Thank your higher self, your true self, for bringing you here today so that you can hear the loving truth about yourself and be released by that truth about yourself. Thank yourself for bringing yourself to this place where you are surrounded by people who see your innocence, who want you to be yourself. All right. And to that we say, amen and yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So where we're at today is we are in the workbook. Now, when I love it. I put in here, Lo holds no grievances. I don't know who Lo is, but they must be happy if they're not holding any grievances.
That's right.
So let's put a V in there. Love holds no grievances. Now, I want to tell you that when I did the random number generator prayer this morning, I did that prayer and then I put in the 3 books of the course. You know, there's 3 books. And then it picked number 2, which is the workbook. And I put in 365 because that's how many lessons there are. And it picked the lesson for today. It picked the workbook lesson for today out of all the 3 books, which you see how thick that book is, out of all the 3 books and of all the 365 daily lessons, it picked today's. So I'm sure that's just a total coincidence. I'm sure none of us in here need to hear about holding grievances. It doesn't seem like we're maybe just emerging out of this intense period of grievances.
Can you do the generator again?
I love it. You sound like me. I'm like, really, maybe I'll do that generator again, you know. But doesn't it seem like we have been in a season of massive, deep grievances? I mean, where friends have split apart, family members have sped up. It seems like we've been in that kind of phase for a while. Like, it seems like it started in COVID. It seems like it, but what'd you say? It seems like it's been a while. As a matter of fact, now that we think about it, I think that the whole world, the Course in Miracles says the whole world came from a grievance with God. You know, this Course in Miracles says this is the manifestation of our grievance with God. You know, God, who created us all equally as one, having everything forever, all of us having equally everything forever, we had a grievance with God. And we said, and our grievance was, well, can't I have just a little something for just me? You know, and God said, what do you mean just you? What are you talking about? And we're like, well, I'll just make up my own dream where I can have something just for myself, right? And what does the Course in Miracles say that a grievance is? The essence of a grievance is, if this were different, I'd be happy. And that was what we said to God. If this were different and I was separate and had something for myself, I'd be happy. And the world as we see it, the world of conflict and death and fear and anger and war, this is the result of saying, if this were different, I'd be happy. and then attacking this reality, and this is what we get. So that's so it's not just this past season or the past 10 years. It's really been a long time that we've been experiencing the grievance dream, and the grievance dream is where we're separate, we're different, we're alone, because grievances make you feel alone. And then what comes after that? War and conflict, right? So so this is timely, don't you think?
Yeah.
This is practical. All right. So we're going to hear today about the truth, the part of us, reality that doesn't hold grievance. Like, what would it be like if we weren't holding grievances? What would it be like? In this lesson, it actually says we're going to try today to practice seeing what it might feel like to have no grievances. So it's going to give us a little teaser. It's going to give us a little something to increase our motivation to stop holding grievances, And so it's going to remind us what grievances really are. And also it's going to remind us about the cost of them to increase our motivation. And then it's going to take us through an exercise where we actually practice what would that feel like if for a moment I wasn't holding a grievance. Okay. Now, anywhere, the Course in Miracles says, anywhere that you are experiencing anything besides peace, love, and abundance, you got a grievance going on. Anywhere there's suffering going on, there's a grievance. Anywhere there's anger going on, there's a grievance. Just in case you might be tempted to go, well, I don't have any grievances. I love everybody. When A Course in Miracles says, I want you to think about your grievances, the first thing that comes up for us is, I don't have any grievances. I love everybody. I'm like, okay, great. Let me just ask you a few little questions then to see if that's the case. So that's what we're going to do today. And I invite you to, it does it all for you in this lesson. So, all right. So let me go to where we're at. So does everybody see where we're at in the book? Lesson 68. All right. Okay. Love holds no grievances. Says, you who were created by love, like love itself, you can hold no grievances and know yourself. Okay. You were created by love. You are love. You're created by love. You can't know yourself as love. You can't experience yourself as loving. You can't experience yourself as lovable if you hold grievances. Okay. Now, does anybody here not want to see who here wants to see themselves as something besides love or loving? Does anybody here want to see themselves as anything besides loving? If somebody said, you are so unloving, what would you say? No, I'm not. But you can't know yourself as loving and lovable. You can't know what you are if you hold a grievance. That's a big price to pay, wouldn't you say? That's a big price to pay for holding a grievance. Then it says, that's because what that means is to hold a grievance is to forget who you are as love. To hold a grievance is to see yourself as a body. And to hold a grievance is the decision to let the ego, fear, and guilt rule your mind. And not only that, but condemn your body to death. Now, when you put it like that, is your grievance really worth it? Is it really worth it to hold that grievance? Especially when that person you're holding that grievance against don't even know who you are. Don't even care who you are. That person you're holding that grievance against, they don't know who you are. They don't know you're holding a grievance. It is not even affecting them. but yet you are going to condemn your body to death and forget who you are, and you're going to let fear and guilt rule your mind just to hold that grievance. Wow. It's like, well, when you put it like that, when you put it like that, then you realize that the grievance that you're holding, as valid as you may think it is, as right as you may think it is, you are paying the heaviest price that can ever be paid for something that may not even be true. That's like, okay, so I'm going to suffer for nothing. I'm going to suffer over something that I'm not even right about. Okay. That does not sound like a good deal. And the only reason we continue to hold on to our grievances is because we don't see what they really are, and we really don't recognize the price we're paying for them.
I'm gonna die for my delusions.
I'm going to die for my delusions. It's one thing to suffer for a just cause, but to suffer for nothing and to suffer over something I'm even wrong about? I don't know. That doesn't sound very smart to me. Like the Course in Miracles says, we are apt to be very stupid at times. And that's a quote. And according to the Course, when we are holding a grievance, we are being stupid. We're misperceiving and being willing to die and suffer just to hold on to that misperception that we're not even correct about. Now, would you call that intelligent or would you call that stupid?
Stupid.
Okay. Stupid is as stupid does. All right. So then it says, when you hold a grievance, you are letting your ego rule your mind and you're condemning your body to death. Okay. That was paragraph 1. Now, paragraph 2, it says, perhaps you do not yet fully realize just what holding grievances does to your awareness, even though it just told us. For starters, holding grievances seems to split you off from your source and make you unlike your source. Okay, so now I'm split off from my source and I'm unlike my source. Then our grievances make us believe that God, our source, is like what we think we have become. Because no one can conceive of their creator as unlike themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see yourself as angry, that's how you see God. If you see yourself as a victim, powerless, that's how you see God. If you see yourself or another as guilty, that's how you see God. If you see God as vengeful, if you see God as weak, if you see yourself as vengeful and weak, that's how you see God. Isn't that a deep concept? It's impossible for you to conceive of your creator unlike how you see yourself. Isn't that deep? If you hold a grievance, you can't see yourself as loving. That's impossible. I really didn't like that when I heard that. Because I want to hold grievances and think that I'm still a loving, good person. I really do. It's like, no, you can't. How can you hold a grievance? Because I go, well, because my grievance is justified.
Right.
That's how I do it. Because my grievance is justified. Because I want to be right. But this is telling us that we can't hold a grievance and still see ourselves as loving. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Anna, would you talk to, I think a lot of times people use grievance, believing that they have to hold on to their grievance to keep themselves safe.
Yes.
And there's such a big difference between grievance and a boundary.
Yes, absolutely.
But we use grievance as boundary.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, and so I will address that now. And that the Course in Miracles makes a distinction very clearly. It says a grievance is not "I forgive you for what you did." So Course in Miracles defines forgiveness. It doesn't say that forgiveness means I forgive you for what you did. The Course in Miracles says forgiveness is to see others the way God sees them. It means correct perception. So forgiveness is not, I see what you did and it was bad and it hurt me. But because I'm the better of the two, I will forgive the hurt you gave me. Okay, that's worldly forgiveness. And the Course in Miracles calls that forgiveness to destroy. Course in Miracles defines forgiveness as correct perception. I see others as they are. This person is just like me, an innocent, guiltless child of God, whom God is well pleased with, who has forgotten who they are and is now acting stupidly. Just like me. You know, anybody that you're upset about, anybody whom you think has done something that's bad or wrong or hurtful, the way God sees them is the exact same way as God sees you, a beloved, precious child in whom God is well pleased, but whom has forgotten who they are and is now attacking, is now holding grievances, instead of experiencing themselves as only love, just like you. So to forgive somebody means this person is just like me. They're an innocent child of God whom God loves, who's forgotten who they are, and now they're acting insanely, just like me. That is what forgiveness means according to A Course in Miracles. It means correct perception. Okay. So, okay, now we'll go deeper into that a little bit but thank you for asking that, Carla. Okay, so no one can conceive of their creator as unlike themselves. So if you're holding grievances, you can't see yourself as loving, you're going to see yourself as unloving no matter what you say, and then that is how you're going to see God, as unloving, as holding grievances, as vengeful. Okay, wow. What a price we are paying for holding grievances. Okay, the ultimate price. Now it says, shut off from yourself, which remains aware of its likeness. It's like your self's likeness to your creator. Your true self seems to sleep, while the part of your mind that weaves illusions and grievances in its sleep appears to be awake. So to hold a grievance, your true self, you have to go to sleep to your true self. You have to go to sleep to your true self. And your true self seems to sleep while your grievance holding fake self is making grievances, building grievances. Okay, that's what's going on when you are holding grievances. Your true self, which remains aware of its likeness to its creator. And in the previous workbook lesson, it tells us that our likeness to our creator is that our creator is only love and we are only love. But when you hold a grievance, you cannot know that you are only love. You cannot know what you are. And so your true self has to sleep while your ego is building the grievance, justifying the grievance. That's what's happening when we're holding a grievance. Okay? All right. Then it says, so can all this arise from holding grievances? Oh, yes! Exclamation point. Because the person who holds grievances denies they were created by love, and this person's creator has become fearful to them in their dreams of hate. And who can dream of hatred and not fear God? Wow. So that's the cost of holding grievances. I have to think that God is like me, holding grievances, angry, vengeful, offended, vulnerable, and vicious. I have to believe that God is like that. And who would not fear a God like that? Okay. Thank you, Matt. You shut those doors. All right. Okay. Now, that is that price worth it for a grievance? When you put it like that, are our grievances worth the price we pay for them? Even aside from the fact that you think you're right, even if you were right.
Even if I was right, it's not worth it.
Even if you were right, it ain't worth it. Even if I was right about that person being evil, even if I was right, is that still worth it? Is that price worth it? Where I lose touch with who I am as love and loving. I see my creator as like me, unloving. Now I'm afraid of my own source. And now I can't see myself as loving, which means I am going to not know myself. And how does it feel to not see yourself? How does it feel to see yourself as unloving? How does that feel? Does that feel good? It's the same as how does it feel to feel unlovable? It's the same thing. How does that feel to feel unlovable? And to see yourself as unlike your source means that you are separate from your source, alone from your source, on your own, alone. The Course in Miracles describes how we have taken our grievances and we're like, this is my only friend in all the world. That's how we. So in other words, to hold a grievance means to experience yourself as alone, because you have to see yourself as separate from your source and obviously from others, because you see yourself, because you're holding grievances. And so it's to make yourself feel alone and unloving and unlovable, and just to be right about something that you're not right about. The only correct perception of another human being who is doing something that you don't like, the only correct perception about them is that they are a child of God who has forgotten who they are and who is now insane and acting insanely, just like you. That is the only correct perception of somebody who is in their ego and acting out of fear. That's the only correct perception. Anything else is a grievance that we're hurting ourselves with. Isn't that deep? So the person that you're upset about, this is what we want to tell ourselves. This person is just like me. They don't know who they are. God loves them just equally and the same as God loves me. God knows them and loves them and cherishes them and is well pleased in them, just like me. And they have no idea. And now they live in fear. And that's why they're attacking, just like me. Okay. That is forgiveness. Forgiveness has nothing to do with what they did at all. Forgiveness is like, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, just like me. Forgive them, Father. They don't know who they are or what they're doing, just like me. That's what forgiveness is. Wow. And then when you hear about the price we're paying for our grievances, which are really misperceptions, me thinking I'm somehow different from them and I would never do anything like that. When I see the price that I'm paying for my grievances, which are actually misperceptions, they're inaccurate, then I'll say, I'm not going to pay that price. I am not going to pay that kind of price for something that I'm not even accurate about. It's not even true. And that's our healing. That's our healing. That's my release from fear. That's my release from suffering. That's my release from pain, my release from lack. When I decide to see correctly. And, the truth about them is they are only love and they don't know it. And I am only love and I don't know it. That's all that's going on. But only when I have that perception can I once again see myself as love, as only love, as loving and lovable. Course in Miracles says that is how we must see ourselves. That is how we must think about ourselves in our heart. That is how we must think about ourselves in our heart. That's it. Loving, lovable. That's it. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. Now, then it says, paragraph 4, it is as sure that those who hold grievances will redefine God in their own image, as it is certain that God created us like God's self and defined us as part of God. Okay, so it's just as sure that if you hold grievances, that you will, if you are going to hold a grievance, you have to redefine God in your own image. To hold a grievance, you have to redefine God in your own image. Isn't that deep? As what? Unloving. To hold a grievance and to see myself as unloving, I have to now redefine God also as unloving and holding grievances. And isn't that what we learned about God? God holds grievances. He got a long memory. He's God. Jealous, vengeful, all projection, 100%. That concept of God is us having redefined God in our own image. Why? So we can hold grievances about things that we're not even seeing correctly. Wow. I mean, when you know the truth about yourself as created by God, which means cannot be changed by anything God did not create, then you know that you are truly invulnerable. Who you are cannot be hurt. Who you are cannot be killed. Who you are cannot be changed by what somebody thinks about you. Now, if you would accept the truth about yourself, what would happen to all your grievances? And that's why every single one of our grievances confirms to us that we are a body, we are vulnerable, we can be hurt, and we can die. Every single one of my grievances is teaching me that I am a body, I can be hurt, and I can die. And I'm vulnerable. That's what every single one of my grievances is really doing. It is not hurting the other person I'm holding that grievance about. It's not hurting them one bit. They don't even know me. They don't even know that I'm hating them, that I'm judging them. They don't know. But yet I'm sitting there teaching myself, I'm a body, I'm vulnerable, I'm guilty, I deserve punishment, and I can be hurt and I can die. That's what I'm doing to myself. So you see here what A Course in Miracles is telling us, that holding grievances is the essence of insanity, and it's what's keeping us insane, like mad people in an insane asylum, hurting ourselves. What do you say about somebody who's sitting there punching themselves in the head?
It's insane.
You go, that person's insane.
Can I help you?
Is that right? Like that movie that Greg and I always laugh about, that scene from that movie Liar, Liar with Jim Carrey. And he's beating himself up in the bathroom and somebody's looking at him. And Jim Carrey goes, do you mind? You know, while he's beating himself up, you know, do you mind? Do you mind if we have a moment while I beat myself up? So, until you see what grievances are and what they're accomplishing and the price you're paying for them, you won't give it up. The Course in Miracles says you'll choose to die just to be right.
Dying to be right. Wow.
Dying to be right. You know, suffering just so I can be right. When the person I'm holding that grievance with has no idea that I'm hating them. Wow. It's like grievances seem to make sense, don't they? Until you really look at what they are and the price you're paying for them. Okay. That's why this Course in Miracles Center is not full to the brim. Nobody wants to, not enough people want to hear that, right?
Why do we do that? Like why do we want to be right so bad that it seems to be the easy way that your mind flows?
Yes, it does, right.
And it's work to see reality, like the
Yes.
truth of it, until you like work the course enough that it's at some point,
Yes.
hopefully,
Yeah.
it seems to switch,
Right.
because the reality is what it is, and we're just like layering all this illusion on top of it.
Yes. So Peter's question is, why does it seem so much easier to hold a grievance? And it seems like it takes work to not hold a grievance. It's because we have been brainwashed since birth, and probably for eons, that we are guilty and that we deserve punishment. And so when you believe that you are sinful and guilty and deserve punishment, like we've all been indoctrinated to believe since birth for a long time, then it makes sense to do that which hurts yourself. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, what a great idea. Right. So when you believe that you're guilty and you deserve punishment and that you're separate, then it makes sense when you're told, hey, the way to change things and make yourself feel better is to hold grievances and attack people. It makes sense. What would hurt us would make sense to do when you feel guilty and believe you deserve punishment, like you've learned that you are. Okay. So, yeah. And then just again, habit. The mind is very powerful,
To just follow up on that, the Course talks about how the ego is completely capable of using logic as truth, as the Holy Spirit is. But the logic of the ego thought system is completely divergent from the Holy Spirit's thought
Yes.
system. And so we've been taught that holding grievances is just the logical outcome of me being a victim in the world and things happening to me. And if it makes sense in that thought system, it makes sense for me to hold a grievance to say, if this were different, I'd be happy. But that does not mean it's reasonable. It does not mean that reason is prevailing in your thought, in your thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to learn a different thought system in which reason and logic are completely aligned.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
It does seem like it's circular thinking, because you can't hold a grievance against anybody that you don't actually hold that grievance against yourself.
Absolutely. 100%. You can't hold that grievance against somebody without holding it against yourself. That's exactly right.
It's like drinking poison.
That's exactly right. Holding a grievance is like anger. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. It's like, that's what a grievance is. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. That's simply what it is.
I think grievance too is a projection.
Yes.
So your projection is something that you're feeling, you
Yes.
don't want to feel yourself.
Yes.
You put it on the other person, and that feels good because you're not.
That's right.
suffering guilt. So I think
That's right.
projection is what makes it so.
That's right. And so thank you for saying that. That the ego is teaching us that we can get rid of all of our anger and fear and self-hatred by projecting it onto others. The ego's telling us, you can get rid of that bad feeling, right? If you just blame other people for it, right? That's what our ego is telling us. And the ego is very convincing, because we trained it, it even sounds like us. So projection. Yes, Linda. Did you have your hand up, Linda?
I did. This may be kind of off the train, but my husband and I occasionally have these huge raging attacks,
Mhm.
and it's like our children, and it's like, well, F you, you're an old bitch. No, you're a bitch. And I should record this for all of
You
This
should,
is quite
for
a-
comedy.
And,
Mhm.
you know, he like, you're mentally ill. It just spirals
Yes.
into, who can stab the other one in the
Yes.
feet.
Yes.
And what I wanted to share is, it takes a few days for me to recover from that.
Mhm.
And it's very bad physically
Yes.
because it gets the cells communicate with one another.
That's right.
And
That's
it gets those cells going, and pretty soon my stomach gets bigger
Yes.
and bigger.
Yes. That's
Or,
right.
you know, I get
Yes.
I-
Inflamed. Inflammation.
inflamed.
Inflammation
I'm inflamed.
in the body.
I'm inflamed.
How
Mhm.
long have you been married?
35 years.
Mhm.
But we
Mhm.
keep coming back, and I've shifted
Mhm.
because I see all the good in him, and I write it down, and then
Mhm.
I'm the creative genius, and he's just got the numbers and the business.
Mhm.
And he gets frustrated with me because I'm too creative,
Mhm.
or I'm
Mhm.
ADHD, or whatever you want to call it, and I have a really fun world
Mhm.
that I live in.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's good to be me.
Yes,
Sometimes.
indeed. But it sounds like you're beginning to see the cost that you both are paying for holding grievances. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, it's
Okay.
taken me years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Better late than never. So, better late than never. Yes.
A grievance is really a receipt.
What?
Receipt.
It's a receipt.
Or like a voucher.
I watched this guy the other night. I go play poker sometimes, and this one particular poker community that I go to, they know that Anna and I are spiritual teachers, and they literally sit there asking me questions. This one guy at the other end of the table starts yelling at the dealer. I mean, cussing him out. He didn't like where his cards were being dealt, and he wanted them on this side, not on this side. And so he had a grievance. And about 5 minutes later, he lost about $500 in one hand. It's a big deal, and he should have won by all practical purposes. But he doesn't connect that he gave this grievance, and that's his receipt, and he's gonna now come and collect for his receipt.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes later, he had something happen that would give anybody a grievance. What happened
Okay.
Except on the whole burning of
Oh.
papers and.
Yeah, no, this is, the Course in Miracles gives a very different, Carla, will you let me know now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, guys. All right, well, since you're so excited to get to how to do it, let's do it. All right, so it says, it is as sure that those who hold grievances will forget who they are, as it is certain that those who forgive will remember who they are, which is only love. And so now we are in paragraph 4 and we're about to start sentence 4. Now.
It's 3 in the blue.
Okay, sentence 3, thank you. Thank you, Carla, very much. Okay. Great. Now it says, so now it's going to ask you a question. After all we've been talking about, the cost of holding grievances, it says, would you not be willing to relinquish your grievances if you believed all this were true? Okay. Everything we've just been talking about the cost of grievances, drinking poison, hoping somebody else will die. Would you not be willing to relinquish your grievance if you believe that was true? Okay. The answer is yes. All right. Now, giving you a pop quiz and the answers. Okay. So then paragraph 5 says, perhaps you do not believe that you can let all your grievances go. Anybody?
I do.
Anybody? There's just a few people left. You just pretty sure you can't let go of your grievance with them?
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay. If not, you're probably lying. Okay. Then it says, now it says that, however, is simply a question of motivation. If you're telling yourself there's some people I just can't let go of a grievance with, I just can't. It says it's really simply a question of motivation. That's all. There's not some people you can't forgive. Okay, there aren't. It's just simply a matter of motivation. And today we will try to find out how you would feel without your grievances. Doesn't that sound nice? I wonder what that would feel like. I have no idea. But it'd be something different.
Yeah.
And if you're a little bored, it'd be something different to do. What would it feel like to be without your grievances? How would you feel without your grievances? If we succeed even ever so slightly, there will never be a problem in motivation ever again. If you succeed even ever so slightly, even just a hint of how you would feel without your grievances, you'll never have a motivational problem in forgiving ever again. Isn't that deep? Must be good, huh? Must be nice.
Another story.
No. No.
This is
Okay.
fun.
Okay. Hold on.
I was driving a car.
Hold on. Let me just finish.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. No worries. You're innocent.
I get excited.
I know. That's good. All right. So here we go. We're going to do it. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to begin the extended practice period. So I'm just going to tell you how it's going to go, and then I'm going to take you through it. Okay. So I'm just going to read it to you. Then we're going to do it. We're going to begin the extended practice period today by searching your mind for those folks against whom you hold what you regard as major grievances. Okay. Now, some of these folks, has already started laughing. Some of these folks will be quite easy to find. Good. Their names already crossed your mind. You know who they are. You think about them all the time. You say you hate them, but you think about them all the time. So do you really hate them? Okay. So it says, so you think about, and then we're going to think about the seemingly minor grievances you hold against those you like and even think you love. And as you do this, it will quickly become apparent there is no one against whom you don't cherish grievances of some sort. What? I love everybody. It says it will become quite apparent quickly that there's no one against whom you don't cherish grievances of some sort. Because remember what a grievance is. If they were different, I'd be happy. That's everybody. That's what he's trying to say. It's everybody you're like, especially anybody that you're close with. You know, anybody you get close enough with, you're going to be like, well, if they were like a little different, I'd be happy. You know?
Sorry, Anna, I have a grievance against you.
Exactly. So that's it's getting us out of denial. Okay. And it says, then right. It says, now you cherishing grievances of some kind against everybody, especially the people that you get close to, this has left you feeling alone in all the universe in your perception of yourself. There's nobody that I would hold some grievance against has left me feeling alone in all the universe in my perception of myself. Wow. Okie dokie. That's what my grievances do. They make me feel lonely. They make me feel lonely. Even if there's another body with me, even if there's other bodies all around me, I still feel lonely. Why? Not because I am alone, but because of my grievances make me feel alone, even when there's other bodies around me. Okay. So, what are we going to do about that? Paragraph 7. Determine now to see all these people as friends. Okay. Well, how do I do that? Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to say to all these people collectively, thinking about each one of them in turn. As you do so, you're going to say to all these folks, I want to see you as my friend. I want to, so that I may remember you are part of me and come to know myself. Okay, that's what we're going to do. I'm just reading it to you, then we're going to do it. And after you do that, then spend the remainder of the practice period in thinking of yourself as completely at peace with everyone and everything, safe in a world which protects you and loves you and which you love in return. We're going to practice feeling that comes from releasing grievances. We're going to try to feel safety surrounding us, hovering over us, and safety holding us up. And we're going to try to believe, however briefly, that nothing can harm us in any way. And then at the end of this practice period, we're going to tell ourselves, love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. Whoo-wee. Are you saying that my grievances are making me feel unsafe?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anybody interested in feeling more safe?
Yes.
Anybody? Okay. I am. The short practice periods should include a quick application of today's idea in this form whenever any thought of grievances arises against anyone physically present or not. So shorter practice, grievance occurs to you, you say, love holds no grievances, let me not betray myself. Love holds no grievances, let me not attack myself. In addition, repeat the idea several times an hour in this form. Love holds no grievances. I would waken to myself, which is only love, by laying all my grievances aside and wakening in love. All right. Okay. So you see what the practice is and how we did on time. Okay. Okay. So before I take you into this practice, questions, comments, thoughts about grievances and our own experience of feeling safe and loved and not alone. Yes.
I was really struck by, don't let me betray myself.
Yes. Love holds no grievances. Let me not betray myself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and so, you know, the question that comes up for me is like,
well, what about that evil person?
Right.
You know, like Greg and I we're studying the course the other night, and we were laughing about all of our exceptions to forgiveness, and we were like, well, whenever I see so and so, I feel like I see the face of evil. Well, whenever I see so and so, I feel like I'm looking at the face of evil. And we had this list. And it was like, dang, it was so easy to come up with this list of people who just looked like the face of evil to us. So, like, you know, that person where you're like, I can't even listen to that person. I can't even see them. I can't even listen. I just turn off the TV when I see them. I just can't even listen to that person. You know the one? I can't even hear that person. I can't even see them. The other day I heard someone say, every time I see them, I just want to throw up. Okay. And so it's like, well, what about the one that you see as evil? Like, this person is evil. Look at what they've done to all these people. You know, they've harmed all these people. You know, how could that person, how could that person not be guilty? How can I forgive that person? That person's evil. It's like, and it's like we're making all these exceptions to the rule, thinking, well, if that person really has hurt that many people and everybody agrees that that person is evil, then that person is evil. That's the way we think, not realizing that that is a grievance, and that grievance is hurting only us. It's not true. I had to, the person who said, well, when I see them, I just want to kill them. It makes my stomach turn. What the thought that came to my mind was, is that how God sees them? Is that how I actually asked them, do you think that that's how God sees that person? And they were like, no. Right. And so, but those are, it's like, I'm a good person, but I'm making this exception with this grievance because this person really is evil.
This person's beyond
Yeah, I think one of
possibility.
the hardest parts is these people, they're bombing people, and they report 25 people have died, including kids, and then the other side. I mean, it's just so hard to go, did God create these people? They're killing all, what? We don't even know
Right,
why.
exactly.
We know it's for some,
That's right.
whatever they, but that's so tough.
Right. And so that's
It's
where,
the world.
and that's where we come back to what we were talking about earlier. Forgiveness doesn't mean, okay, what that person did when they bombed all those people and killed all those hundreds of thousands of people, right?
It goes back and forth.
Yeah, it's not about it's not, I forgive them for all the people they have murdered. It's this person who has murdered all these people, I think.
Even though death isn't real.
Yeah, even though death isn't real.
What'd you say?
He said, even though death isn't real.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, I know.
This
but-
person who I think has killed all these people, even though death isn't real. This person is just like me. They are a child of God. They are only love, and they don't know they are only love. And because they don't know they are only love, they are giving something besides love to other people who don't know they are only love, who cannot die, just like me. Do you see the difference?
That's an interesting.
So forgiveness is correct perception. Forgiveness isn't saying, well, it's all right that they murdered all those people.
It's not justification.
Exactly. It's not justification, right? It's not saying it's okay that they murdered all those people, right? It's saying they are just like me. They don't know who they are, and so they don't know they are only love, and so they are giving unloving in something. Okay. That's what it means to forgive, and that's how it is that we, quote, forgive people who are doing what we call evil. Right, exactly. Okay.
And they're doing it to themselves.
And they are doing it to themselves. Exactly right.
So just to follow up and just to rephrase what Anna just said, there from chapter 28, this is about how to accept the atonement for oneself. To think of the other, think of my brother, as a mind in which illusions persist,
Exactly.
but as a mind which is equal to me.
Yes, exactly.
He is not a brother made by what he dreams
Or does.
nor is his body, the so-called hero of the dream, my brother.
Mhm.
His mind and mine are joined in brotherhood. His body and his dreams but seem to make a gap where my dreams and body have joined with his. And yet between our minds, there is no gap.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That this is somebody who is one with me and who is a child of God and who is someone within whom's mind then illusions still persist. They don't know who they are. And they don't know that they are only love. And so they're given something besides love. Just like me.
Because the illusion is still in my mind.
Because the illusion is still in my mind. Exactly. You know, and the truth is, and then the truth is also that they are just like me. They are wrong about themselves being a body, you know, and they cannot die. And whoever it is that they have killed, thank God, those beings are not bodies, they're bodies either, you know. So remember, forgiveness is correct perception. It's not overlooking what they did in their bodies.
Can you help me see if I'm thinking through this right? Because it's easy for me to remember that, you know, bodies can't be killed. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
because they're not personal to me.
Yeah.
I know this is terribly selfish.
Indeed.
It's not
I-
opponent.
Mhm.
And it's easy for me to remember with my particular grievance person
Mhm.
that she is just like me. We were friends once.
Yeah, right.
She is just like me. She's innocent like me.
Mhm.
But when she does the thing that hurts my feelings, and I like
Mhm.
hurting feelings,
Yes,
killing people, I get it.
right.
It's just like, is it that I am also in the illusion if I think that my feelings can be hurt?
Yes, indeed. 100%. Yes. You are incorrectly perceiving them, but you incorrectly perceived yourself first as being a body or a self that can be hurt. Now, if God was truly only love, do you think God, a loving creator, would create God's creations and children vulnerable?
You know,
I mean, that doesn't sound very loving.
Can we say in a way that it's not people that are evil, it's their behaviors and their actions?
What we would say is that
And those are
not,
here.
yeah, what we say is that only people who don't know who they are as only love do
'Cause they do it
vicious,
out of
violent
ego, they do
things.
it out of fear.
Exactly. Only, and we also have to also say, just like me. Don't forget that part. Forgiveness is they don't know who they are, and so they are acting unlovingly like me. Okay, that's what forgiveness really means. It's not justifying their behavior. It's not excusing their behavior. It's just accurately interpreting their motivation. So forgiveness is understanding core motivation. And also forgiveness means I don't see myself as different from them. Okay, a grievance is like, I would never do that. You know, I've never intentionally hurt anybody ever.
Never.
Okay. Right. But that's what a grievance is. It's like, well, I would never do that, which means I'm different from that person. You know, I don't understand how they could make that error. I've been only loving to everybody forever. So that's how arrogant grievances really are, because you are implying that not only you're implying that you're God, you know, that you created yourself, you've created them, you know, and that your perception of them is accurate. Yes.
Because a couple times in my past, I hate to say this, but I'm going to, because I trust everyone here, I wanted them to die and go away. I didn't care, I wouldn't do it to them,
Right,
but I wanted
exactly,
something to happen.
exactly.
I
And
was
we,
that pissed off and that holding it.
that's right. And the Course in Miracles says that, and no, this is really crazy what the Course in Miracles says. You don't have to believe this. It says, what is not love is murder.
Yes.
It actually says that. I don't like it, but it says that, because I want there to be a gray area, because I want to keep my murderous thoughts, right? And still seem like I'm a loving, good person, right? There's nobody who hasn't had an unloving, which means a thought that they'll wish that somebody would die, and
I thought I was the only.
no, that's what I'm telling you. You're not the only one. That's.
So, and the Course uses the word grievance. What's the difference between grievance and grief? Grief, you feel loss. You can't help but feel that.
That's right.
And not to feel it. It's a problem.
That's right.
So how does the word grief and grievance?
Grievance. Well, that's a great question. So grievance, remember what it said, one of the costs of grievance is that you feel alone in all the universe. So what would be a bigger loss than feeling like you're alone in all the universe? So one of the cost and price you pay for grievances is a grief of feeling alone, like feeling like you've lost you've lost your connections, you've lost your source, you've lost your loved ones. So absolutely.
Not to mention depression, anxiety,
Not to mention depression, anxiety, sickness, you name it.
Minor betrayals of
Yes,
myself.
just minor betrayals of yourself.
The other thing to consider is we have no earthly idea what the other person's life journey
Very good.
is going to be about.
Think
about Judas.
Exactly. Think
That
about it.
hadn't been for
Exactly.
him.
That's exactly right. And that's why I was saying that forgiveness is understanding, it's correct perception. It's more of an understanding of their motivation or a compassion of their motivation. Truly, the nature of everybody is love and loving. That is everybody's nature. That is the way God has created all of creation. And so if somebody is acting unlovingly, it can only be because that's what they received and came to believe that they deserved, just like us. So God is judging the motivations of others. We judge behavior erroneously, and all of our grievances are based on our judgments of other people's behaviors, not understanding their true motivation, what led them to be so unloving. And truly, if somebody had not been unloving to them, they'd be only loving, because that is our true nature. People aren't born evil. Nobody's born evil. No evil babies. Despite the movies that you may have seen where babies are born evil, like Chucky. All right. Okay, guys. So we're going to now. I'm going to take you through this process, and then we'll close on out. All right. Okay, let me get some music going on. Why don't we pass around the love offering basket, get that out of the way. And you guys, if you would like to make a financial expression of appreciation to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, thank you for that. I've got right here the web address to do that. And also, I want to tell you guys about a workshop that Carla and I are going to be doing here next month.
It's the 5th, right?
Yes, April 5th. And so what we're doing it for in person. So it's for us as a community. And the title is, let me see if I can remember it. Do you remember the title, Carla?
It is Liberated by Love, Finding Freedom in the Midst of Chaos.
Yes, and then the subtitle is, what would it take to feel safe in these changing times? Okay, anybody notice there's been a lot of like change and uncertainty going on in the world? Nobody, okay, all right. And it's Saturday, April 5th.
It's from 10 to 3.
10 to 3. And so we're going to be talking about, what A Course in Miracles talks about, how to feel safe in a crazy world, in changing times. You know, is it true that the Course in Miracles says we're under no laws but God's? Is that really true? Is it true what the Course in Miracles says is that we're really sustained by the love of God, not money, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people? You know, how do you feel safe? Like a lesson Greg and I were doing last night, loving in a loveless place. How do you feel safe and secure in a place that seems so insane and seems to be getting more insane by the day? I don't know about you, but doesn't it seem like the world's getting crazier? Doesn't it seem like that? And so Course in Miracles has a lot to say about how to experience safety and peace and security, no matter how many crazy fools seem to be running this planet. Okay? That's what this is about. How the true safety and security is not a changing of the external circumstances outside of you. True safety and security and peace is an internal matter. And it is possible to experience safety and security even when it seems like there's a lot of craziness, a lot of unsafe stuff going on around you. Isn't that good to know? So we're going to be talking about how to access that and how to experience that, no matter what's going on in your world. Does that sound practical?
Registration link is at the top of Anna's website, divinerevolutionarq.com, divinerevolutionarq.com.
Yes.
Or you can come see me and I'll give you the details.
Yes. Beautiful. All right.
Are we gonna sit in a circle?
It is a play shop.
It's a-
so we are going
it's a
to
play shop,
make
not a
you
workshop.
play, darling.
And so after we talk about how A Course in Miracles says you can experience that, then Carla is going to take us through some games and some activities where we actually play it out, where we actually experience it with each other. So and it's called a play shop, not a workshop. Okay. All right. We're going to
I can bring my pseudopod.
Yes, yeah, I would say bring yoga mat, bring pillow, bring pajamas, whatever it takes to feel comfortable and safe. That's April 5th from 10 to 3. Okay, with a lunch break. All right, you guys.
Lunch included.
Lunch is included.
Is it in here or over there?
Let's let Anna get through this for the people online, and then I'll answer all those questions.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, you guys, so great. So now I'm going to get some music going on, and I want you to get comfortable. We're now going to do the forgiveness process that A Course in Miracles gives us in this lesson. So we're actually just going to go ahead and do it. Okay, come on. And the music won't play, so.
Of course.
Mercury retrograde, I see you. All right. And I'm not going to betray myself by holding a grievance. It's a miracle. All right. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take a breath and just relax. Let it all go. And just breathe. All right. So what I want you to do first is I want you to search your mind for just a moment or two for those against whom you hold what you regard as major grievances. I want you to see them in your mind's eye. Maybe see them in a semicircle around you. major grievances. Now I want you to think of the folks with whom you have some seemingly minor grievances, people whom you like and even think you love, that you have some seemingly minor grievances against, and I want you to see them like in a semicircle around you. Now I want you to notice within yourself that there's nobody against whom you don't cherish grievances of some sort. And then I want you to notice how alone and separate this has made you feel at times. And take a breath. Now, I want you to determine within yourself, I want you to say to yourself, I am determined to see all these people as friends. I am determined to see all these people as friends. Now, I want you to say to them, I want to see you as my friends, that I may remember that you all are part of me and come to know myself. And I'll say it again. So looking at these folks in your mind's eye, say to them, I want to see all of you as my friends, that I may remember you are part of me and come to love myself again. Beautiful. Now, I want you to bring your awareness back into yourself, and I want you to now try to think of yourself as completely at peace with everyone and everything, and safe in a world which protects you and loves you, and a world which you love in return. Take a breath. Imagine yourself being completely at peace with everyone and everything in the world. I want you to imagine yourself feeling safe in a world that protects you and loves you. What would that feel like? I am safe in a world which protects me and loves me, in a world which I love in return. What would that feel like? Practice feeling this feeling. Practice this perception. And don't worry, you're not faking it. You're trying to perceive correctly. You're trying to perceive for a moment reality as it is. Think of yourself as completely at peace with everyone and everything in the world. Think of yourself as safe in a world which protects you and loves you. Try to feel safety surrounding you. Try to feel safety hovering over you, and try to feel safety holding you up. And breathe it in. And now I want you to try to believe for just a moment that nothing can harm you in any way. What would this feel like? To feel like nothing can harm me in any way, because you feel safety surrounding you and hovering over you and holding you up. And breathe it in. And you're not faking it here, you're trying to perceive and get a glimpse of reality, the real world that you will experience when you have let your grievances go. And tell yourself, this is what I will feel when I let my grievances go. I will know I am safe. Like this. And tell yourself, this is what I want to feel all the time. I want to feel safety surrounding me, hovering over me and holding me up. I want to feel like I live in a world that keeps me safe and protects me and loves me, and that I love in return. I want to experience being completely at peace with everyone and everything in the world. I want that. And forgiveness offers me that. I want to forgive because I want to be happy. I want to remember the truth about myself, my true self, as only loving and lovable and safe. I want you to tell yourself, love holds no grievances. And when I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. And then tell yourself, love holds no grievances. Let me not betray myself. Tell yourself, love holds no grievances. Happiness holds no grievances. I want to waken to my loving self by laying all my grievances aside and wakening in love. And now I want you to see all those faces of those people in your mind's eye again. See them in front of you, and I want you to look at their faces, and I want you to tell me if they look differently to you now. How do you see them now? How do they look to God? How might God see them now? Now I want you to thank them for being your teacher, for helping you to learn how to forgive yourself and see yourself correctly. Thank you, friends. Thank you. And now let's do what A Course in Miracles tells us to do with all these brothers and sisters who we had been holding grievances against. And we say to all of them, God, I give you all these friends back to you. I know that they will be released from pain and suffering unless I want to use them to imprison myself with grievances. In the name of my freedom, I choose all their release from guilt, because I know we will all be released from guilt and pain and suffering together. And then notice how you feel inside yourself right now. Notice how you feel right now. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, take a breath and bring your awareness back. All right. Way to save the world, y'all. Good job. Give it up for yourselves. You deserve it. Look what you just did. Look at the good you just did. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing and supporting. Love you guys.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of that last